All right, hey everybody, we're back. Me and Justin just been talking, and we're not done yet. We got so much more to
Uh,
share with you guys. All right, so if you've been on my YouTube channel, Uplift past Crossroads, you know what we're about to get into. You see the number 30 behind me, you know what it is, right? So on my YouTube channel, Uplift past Crossroads, there's a playlist titled "I Hate My Birthdays," right? And so if you hate your birthdays, if birthdays make you sad and depressed, and it's just a sorrowful time for you, this playlist is for you, right? There's a lot of reasons why you're sad and discouraged, but God's word is ready and available to give you the grace, give you the message, give you the revelation, the hope. It's anything that you need through all your difficulties and sufferings and depression, whatever you name it, right? So in this playlist, I share all the stuff that I received from God and from other believers. People gave me a lot of inspirational messages and motivational messages and insightful words. Like when it came to my 30th birthday, I turned 30, by the way, on December 28th. And yeah, it was a sad time for me because I haven't accomplished a lot of the things that I thought I should have accomplished by 30, right? I thought I would have at least 4 kids or 3 by 30, right? My goal was 6, maybe even 12 disciples. I don't know, however many I can get, right? then I thought I would have a house. I don't have a house. I'm not even gonna tell you where I'm at. I'm at my parents' house at 30, but I've been saving up my money. My money's right, so don't play. But like, so yeah, man, it's just I thought I would have a ministry, man. I thought I'd be like Pastor Furtick or Joel Osteen, and I'd be more popular, but I'm not, right? And that's the problem, right? So on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist titled "Comparison" as well. So check out this playlist. But me and Justin, we're about to talk about that. So one
uh,
of the many reasons why I was so discouraged and so sad and downtrodden about my birthday being 30 is because I was comparing myself with other people, right? So I'm gonna show you guys a picture. Like this picture shows exactly what I was doing. And this picture is hilarious. You probably saw it before, right? So on the internet, it's pretty big. But it's a this photo. I think I saw it on Twitter or Instagram first. And it happened back in like 2010, around there, 2009. So like, uh, but the caption says, there's always a bigger fish in the sea. So I don't care who you are, what you are. Like, if you think you're the greatest pastor ever, right? So I'm comparing myself with preachers, right? The person who I think is a great pastor, there's somebody that's better than him, right? There's always going to be somebody better than or lesser than you, right? So even like for Shaq is 7'1". The black guy, the big black guy right here is Shaq,
yeah.
right? Shaquille O'Neal. This guy is 7'1" and weighs like 325. So like you would think he's the biggest person in the world when you see him. But then you got somebody like Yao Ming. He's 7'6" and like 350. Like, like and look at Shaq by him. And then Kevin Hart, he dude's only 5'6". And then Dwayne Johnson, I think he's like 6'3". By the way, it goes, look how there's always a bigger fish in the sea. So what's the point of this photo? The point of this photo and the point of this video is to show you that if you compare yourself, compare your life, and just look at other people and focus on them instead of living the life that God has put right in front of you and has given you, it's going to lead you down a dark path. When it's always going to be somebody lesser than you that's doing worse than you, and there's always going to be somebody that's doing better than you or in a better place than you, where you want to be or where you dream of being. It's always going to be like that. So what does that come into as well? Not being satisfied, discontentment. Like those are stuff in the Bible as well. Just I know you got something to say, man. Like, go ahead.
well, first, man, I want a picture of Kevin Hart next to Shaquille O'Neal now, just to see like how big of a difference is. Man, that would be crazy. But yeah, I think I'm actually gonna bring a lot of biology into this too, which may be weird. But like as I was telling Sean before, like, man, in biblical times you knew maybe like what 50, like actually knew 50 people. So as long as you were like in the median of like success or status, like you were thinking you're doing pretty well. Like some people above you, some people below you. But like nowadays it's like, man, like thousands of people. Like, man, how many Facebook friends do you have? And like the only feed you get on Facebook is like all the good things going on in your life. So it's like natural to think you're doing worse than thousands of people at once. And it's like our minds are biologically made to focus in on the negatives. Like that's an evolutionary, well, it's supposed to be an evolutionary benefit, but now it's like a curse. But like back then, if you were hunting or if you were in the wilderness, like it's good to be aware of like where the danger is, or like if you remember a lion coming out of that bush, your mind is gonna remember the negativities or the danger of like where to avoid, where not to go. Like fortunately we don't have to like avoid lions nowadays, but we're still stuck with that mental process of remembering all the bad things going on in your life. So it's like it's oh man, I'll hold off to say this a little later. But man, it's like so easy just to think you're doing worse than everybody else, just because one, you only see the positive feedback on Facebook or social media, and two, we just know so many more people now that it's hard to think we're doing great compared to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, typically, guys, I always share a tweet or a post on Instagram of a quote that I show you guys, but I didn't have time to do that. I didn't have time to tweet it and post it, so I'm just gonna show you the quotes, and then you guys just make sure to support my social media pages because I'm technically marketing in my pages when I show you guys a quote. But let's go ahead and break this down some more. So we're talking about there's always a bigger fish in the sea, right? So one of the quotes I have for you guys is this. So I wish I would have wrote it better, but it's this white part right here. So just focus on everything at the bottom. This is just the title and just telling me what direction I was trying to go in. But anyways, so one quote that I saw was, sometimes we come up short when we compare. So somebody could be skinnier than you, somebody can be funnier than you, somebody can be smarter than you. So sometimes we come out on top. Our house is bigger, we're fancier and dressed better. Uh, our life's more clear, no confusion. But this game of comparison is a game with no winners. Because at the end of the day, when you compare yourself with other people, what does it accomplish? It doesn't accomplish anything. Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be somebody better than you, richer than you, poorer than you, more
Mm.
fancier than you, dressed better than you, smarter than you. There's always somebody better or worse than you. And life on this earth is bigger than just you trying to one up somebody or be in a better place than somebody else or be in a place that somebody else is in. Comparison is a game with no winners at all. That's the first quote. Second quote I got for you, and just stop me if you want to add something. Second quote I got for you guys is, wherever you are in life with whatever you're doing, you're going to be ahead of some and behind others. That's okay. Own where you are. Take time to embrace and celebrate that. Continue moving forward and never compare your beginning to someone else's middle. So this is what I've been doing, guys. Like I told you my goals. I think people know if you see me talk a lot on social media and just the way I post and stuff like that. Like I'm going for the big dogs, right? I want to have a huge ministry. I don't think that's I think that's evident how I post and stuff like that. Like I want what Joel Osteen, and Pastor Stephen Furtick, and John Piper, John MacArthur, Tony Evans, Chuck Swindoll. I can name a lot of names because I know all of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like James McDonald. Like, there's a lot of great pastors, great teachers in the Word, and I want to be the greatest. Like, but like, I don't know what their journey looked like. I don't know what their race looked like. I don't know how long it took them to get to the place that they're at. And even if I do, because I do some of them. Even if I do, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know what God was doing in their hearts and in their minds and what He was preparing them for. Like they know, right? Because it's their life, it's their race, and that's the whole point. I gotta own where I am. I gotta own my life and what God is doing in my life and celebrate and embrace that instead of celebrating and embracing somebody else's life as if it's my life and comparing and saying like, man, that should be my life. That should be what God should be doing in me and for my life. Like God doesn't work like that. Like, and that's what I was doing on my birthday. So if you are depressed about getting older, one of many ways you could be depressed is because you're comparing your life with your friends, with your neighbors, with your co-workers, with your family. Like, don't do that. And I said that before in one of my other videos I did with Never Comparing. I talked about how like I kind of got that from my dad, right? So childhood trauma. I talked about that parent trauma. Like every parent's gonna give a child some type of trauma. Like I don't care how great the parent raised the kid or anything like that. Nobody's perfect. We're all sinners. We all make mistakes. And one of the mistakes that my dad made is just always comparing like somebody with somebody else and me with them. Like, and he's like, Sean, you don't match up. You know, you got a lot of work to do. Like, you think you made it? Like, you think you're bad? Like, this is where they are. This is where you are. Like, you're all the way on the floor. Like, do better. Like, and so that's how I do. I compare every day. Like, I'm like, man, I'm not measuring up. I need to do better. I need to one up them. Like, you know, and that's not the race. I just need to do what God called me to do. I just need to move forward and run my race and stay in my lane instead of focusing on everybody else's race. Because I'm in a different race than them. You guys see what I'm saying? So yeah, man, you gotta own where you are instead of trying to, you know, get in somebody else's lane and stuff like that. So another quote was, you know, if you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be greater or lesser persons than you. And then the second quote is, it's okay to not have everything. It's okay to not be everything. All of us lack in some ways. It's okay to lack in the ways that you do, and it's okay for others to be better too. When you focus on yourself, others won't matter. And what a life that would be if we didn't focus and compare our lives with other people's, and we just focus on what God's doing for us in us. Like how peaceful your life would be, like how stress free your life would be. Like you wouldn't be rushing, you wouldn't be trying to create things on your own. You would just be in complete bliss and happiness with and contentment of what God is doing. See, when you focus on other people, you become unsatisfied and and you're living in discontentment. And that's not the place that God wants us to live in. So it's okay to not have everything. It's okay to not be where you want to be in this life. It's okay to lack some things because everybody lacks something, right? All of us do. No matter what you have in this life, you can have everything. You're still gonna lack something. God, you need God always, every day. Like, you know, so yeah, so it's okay. That's life. Just run your race. And so that's where I'm at for my 30th birthday. Like my 30th birthday was such a depressing time because I didn't realize, you know, what I was doing, but that's what I was doing. I was comparing my ministry with people who's 100 chapters before me, right? And I actually shared that post, Justin. I'm gonna show you right now. So one of the posts I shared was, it's a video I did before this one. I talked about how, you know, your journey is your journey, right? And I used this photo. I'll show you guys the video in a minute. But this was the photo. It's so epic, Justin. Watch this, man. Like, it's a guy running and he's chasing after somebody else trying to catch up to him. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to catch up to John MacArthur. John MacArthur's like 88, man. You know, he's been preaching since the 20s. What I look like trying to catch up to him preaching wise. Like Tony Evans, even. He's like 65 or something. He's old. Like, I'm only 30. Like, you know, so why am I trying to get to where they're at? When they're like in chapter 90 and I'm on chapter 1, technically, right? Like, this guy's trying to chase after this other guy that's ahead of him. And he said, I thought I was I thought I was a loser. I thought I was losing. And then he said, but then I realized, you know, this was never a race. Like, he's on a totally different path than the other guy. His path is green and the other guy's path is orange. And he was chasing after him for nothing. And that's life. When you're comparing and you're trying to measure up to somebody else's life and obtain what they got, the way that they got it, how they got it. Like, everybody's life's different. Everybody's experiences are different. God is doing a new thing in your life and in your story and your ministry and all that stuff. In your race of life, life's a race. Run the race. Fight the good fight of faith, right? The Christian life is a race. It's not a sprint. It doesn't end quickly. Your goals don't happen like that in the snap of the fingers. It takes time. Why? Because God's doing something special in all of us. He's at work. And he's doing way more than what you think and could ever imagine. So you're trying to mess up his process of doing things when you try to obtain things in the way that other people obtain it and try to obtain it in your time. That's the biggest thing. So like I was comparing my ministries with everybody else's. I was so discouraged because I wasn't surrendering to God's time and to God's will and God's plans. So maybe that's another reason why you're sad about your birthdays, man. So Justin, you got anything else, man? I know you got something, man.
Yeah, and I just want to say like a couple of things. Like I think it's Einstein who was saying like you can't compare, you can't judge a fish by how well it climbs a tree. It's like every animal, every person was like made for a special gift or made for a special thing. You gotta grow where God plants you. And like not only that, not it doesn't just matter like who you are as well. It's like what time of life are you in? What chapter are you in? Like God calls us to pursue a different path or pursue a different endeavor like in different parts of our lives. Just because like one chapter ends doesn't mean we have to keep trying to drag on that chapter the whole time. Like we find a new one. We figure out what path God has for us next. And I think that's an important thing is yeah, I like that picture you had, Sean. Like we can't be chasing after somebody else. Like we don't want to focus on other people. Like even when you're married, I was told like I don't want to focus on my wife. Not in that way. I'll explain later. I don't want to put her on a pedestal, but we both need to be like focused on God. Kind of like a let me see if I can. Kind of like a triangle. Like if we're both at two different points, but we're aiming for God right at the top, we're gonna be running to the same place. Um we're going to be running the same race, but like we're not running after one person because like that's for one that's a lot of weight on you for chasing after a person, and that's a lot of weight for the person that's being chased as well. You don't want to put all your happiness, all your expectations on one person as well. Like only God is able to hold all of that weight. Like if we focus on God, if we focus on the path that He has for us, He's going to provide us with the tools that we need. We don't need to be worrying about, man, why am I not in this part of my life yet? Like that's I don't know. Expectations is a whole nother monster. It's not a bad thing, but it sometimes it is. Like I'll use another married analogy as well. Like a big the when two of the biggest leads for divorce in the US I was reading is financial problems and unrealistic expectations.
Mm.
And man, that's so true. Like how many romantic movies do we watch where it just seems like everything is so perfect? Like man, like the commercials as well. Commercials are full of like beautiful people that is like nowhere near close to like what kind of what real people look like. But everyone has in their mind that oh, like this is the new standard. It's like you won't be happy unless you look this good or you use this product. Like marketing is solely based on fear. Like that's actually what they teach you on marketing is like they they are not trying to work to sell you a product. They are trying to make you afraid of what it's like not to have a product, which is
Mm.
so true. Which is like that's like matrix level of being gaslighted. It's a man, that's gosh, it's I'm not sure if I should complain about social media while on one of our social media pages. But like it's we do have to dig out the truth and the wisdom that God has for us and not to have the wool pulled over our eyes because of what culture tells us. We have to be focused on what God has for us because man, I promise it's going to be bigger than what we expect. Like it's you have to think about what prosperity and success actually means. The Bible talks about how we'll be prosperous and successful. But a lot of people think prosperity and success are based on our physical gains and money. And not to say God can't bless us with financial gains to take care of ourselves and our family, but that's not what He wants us to gain out of all this. Like prosperity and success is like an internal thing. It's like how much we've gained from there. So it's ridiculous to look at today's standards, today's cultural standards, because it's all physical based. Like it's all things that are going to be dust in the wind one day. Like, bottom line is we focus on what God has for us, and not to judge on not to judge or run after people that have nothing to do with our path or have nothing to do where God wants us to be planted.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the last thing I wanted to say, man. Like last quote I saw for like not comparing yourself, man, because like it really goes with the very first video I did with never comparing. The very first video I did was actually titled "Comparison is of Joy," and obviously joy, 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 guys, sweet joy. That's the song. Uh, joy is happiness is God. You're not gonna be happy outside of Him. He has the most bliss and the most peace and the most everything. So like, comparison is the thief of what God is doing. Basically, comparison is the thief at the work that God is doing with, in, through, and just in your life. Because God is at work in all of us. A lot of times people like to look at other people's lives and say, man, God's really working through them, but He's working through you too. And He's doing a great work. Like, yeah, some people think, no, it's not that great. Like, my life sucks. But no, like, that's the wrong mindset. See, comparison is the thief of joy. You're going to put John MacArthur, John Piper, all these great pastors up on a pedestal when, you're special too. Like, we even put like Peter, John, and Paul and King David, we put all them on a pedestal. Like, but no, guys are working your life too, man, if not more so. So, man, comparison is the thief of everything that God is doing in your life. And He's doing so much in all of our lives. So, like, the last quote I want to say to everybody was, someone will always be prettier. Somebody will always be buffer and ripper and more tone. Somebody will always be smarter. Somebody will always have better skin, better hair. I don't care. Somebody will always be younger or older. Like, but they will never be you. That's the key. Like, God just wants you to be yourself, right? Like, God just wants you to focus on your race, on your life, on what He's doing. So there will always be a bigger fish in the sea. There will always be a lesser fish in the sea. Sometimes you'll be the biggest fish, but it doesn't matter. Just run your race and be who God called you to be. And that's the video. So, like, what's the scripture verse that relates to that? I've been saying it on every video I've been doing, Justin, and I just can't help but say it again, man. But this time I get to pull it out in a different way. So, yeah, Justin, like you haven't heard me talk about it like this yet, but like, let's talk about what happens when you compare in a race, man. So Hebrews 12, 1-4, Paul loves to use the analogy that the Christian life is a race. It's a marathon. He loves to talk about the Olympics and running the race that God has marked out for you. That's what he says. He says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, I need to get my marking tool. Let's mark this up. Yes. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders. What's one thing that hinders? Comparison hinders, man. So we need to throw off comparison. No compare. Like, I can't write like this. This is awful. I need a touchscreen, Justin, because this mouse sucks.
Yeah. I was thinking, I'm trying to see how. Okay.
Never compact.
Started out good.
Right, I did. I started off pretty good. Anyways. So let us throw off everything that hinders. So no more comparison. Comparison hinders you. It's the thief of joy. Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He wants to destroy the work that God is doing in our lives. And what's one way that he does it? He hinders us based on comparing ourselves. So we're putting a weight on us that we don't need. And just imagine if you ran a race, like you were in the Olympics. You never see anybody in the Olympics running with weight gear on, like a weighted vest, weighted ankles, like a Madison ball. Like, you don't see that. They don't run a race that matters with weight on. They train with weight, like, but they don't use it. They don't run a race with weight and stuff that's holding them back. They don't run a race in boots. They don't run a race, with a coat on. They wear the least amount of clothing as possible. Why? Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that easily entangles, man. You know what? You're going to just get entangled. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall down. You're just going to make the race that God has set out for you way harder than what it is when you compare, right? It hinders. It holds you back from running the race marked out for you. That's the part. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. That's all I'm going to read. Like, God, you can't run this race with perseverance. You can't run the race that God has marked out for us, for you, right? Because all of us are in different races, and that's the key. He marked out a race for you, for me, for any and all of us, and it's all different. Nobody else can be Sean Christopher Jenkins. Nobody else can be Justin Lee Howell. We are two different people. So when you compare yourself, you ruining the work that God is doing through you. You can't run the race with perseverance, and this is why I was discouraged on my birthday. I cannot write at all with this. This is awful. Like, this is the worst I've ever done writing.
The purple doesn't help on the black either.
Oh. Well, anyway, yeah. So that's saying birthday. My handwriting is really pretty, guys. I'm sorry. Like, but anyways, like, you can't enjoy birthdays. You can't enjoy your day. You can't enjoy your life, and you're not gonna have perseverance to endure to the end, because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Life's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Getting to your goals and getting to the places that God has predestined for you and for me is gonna take time. And it's all in God's timing, and it's gonna take perseverance. And God has given us that perseverance. And how has He given us that perseverance? If we fix our eyes on the only person we need to be fixing our eyes on, we need to fix our eyes on Jesus, man. On Jesus, who is the author, the finisher, the perfecter of our faith, man. He's the beginning and the end. He's the Alpha and Omega. He's already lined up what the beginning of your life look like and what the end of your life look like. He already lined up what your life's gonna look like in all eternity. Like, everything's already set out for you. The race has been marked out for us, man, by the author and pioneer of our faith, man. So no,
no. What happened?
Yeah, I just marked off on it for a minute. But anyways, I'm just trying to say that Jesus, He's the one that marked out our race already. So we need to fix our eyes on Him. And one thing I want to do is just that Jesus is the light at the end of the tunnel. So if you feel like you're in a dark time period, you feel like your birthdays are a depressing time like I did, you need to fix your eyes on Jesus. Anytime you're going through a hard time in life, fix your eyes on Jesus. Don't fix it on anybody else, because the minute you do that, you stumble, you fall, you're gonna be easily entangled. Easily entangled. That's the key word, man. Easily entangled. That means it doesn't take much to cause you to be tangled up and to stumble in the race and to fall easily. But you know what can help you to easily get back on the course, even though it's gonna take perseverance? Jesus. That's who. So this market tool is awful today. I need to find a better way of doing this, man. But anyways, you guys get it. So,
I like that. Man. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right. That can make you, if you're focusing on somebody else, that can make you stumble and affect your endurance. Because that makes me think of something my dad said all the time when we were golfing. Like, for golf, you don't play against the other person. You play the course. Like, if the guy in front of me hits the golf ball down the fairway, I'm not going to aim for his golf ball. I'm going to aim for the hole. I'm going to aim for a hole in one, or as far as I can. Why would you limit yourself that? Even if you don't hit it as far as him or her, you don't want to limit yourself to someone else's path. You want to focus on your own. I just had something short to say. You made me think about that, though. I never thought about that. Focusing on somebody else would make you stumble on your own path. I like that.
And I said that too on the other videos, but I'll say it again. When you run in track, nobody ever runs looking back and forth. Because if you do, and you look at other people's lanes, look how fast they're catching up and stuff. It only causes you to slow down. Plus, there's curves when it comes to track. It's not like a straight line, really. It curves off right on the sides. So, so it's not smart to be looking around, because you can run into something. You can stumble against another competitor that's running a race, that's competing with you in the same race. So, yeah, man, that's why you don't compare. That's why you don't look around, man. Focus your eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter on your faith. He's the only person you need to be comparing yourself to. Because we're all called to be like Jesus in this world. We're called to be the light of the world just like Him. You're the salt and light of the world. So we need to be reflecting Him at all times. So that's the only person you compare yourself to. You compare yourself to who you were yesterday, right? So you can get better and be who God called you to be today, right? Because He's getting us ready for His kingdom. So we got a lot of work to do. So trying to be like somebody else, trying to attain life like they got it, obtain the blessings that God gave them and stuff like that. The way they gave them, it don't work like that. So that's the video, guys. All right. So Justin, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. That was a good video for like an impromptu video like that.
Yeah, man. That's how it be, man. So all right, guys. You guys know the drill. Let me share my screen so you can see my social media pages. If you really enjoyed this, go to my YouTube channel, Upload Past Crossroads. I also have a podcast. I'm on every podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, Anchor. So go to my podcast, subscribe, so you know when I upload another video. Turn on post notification as well. My Facebook, LinkedIn, Sean Christopher Jenkins, Twitter, Snap, Instagram, TikTok, Trouble Don't Last, Instagram, my_day_Bible, and Trouble Don't Last #1 is my Tumblr. And then also, if you really enjoy this video, so I have a check out this video, by the way. So this video was on my YouTube channels where I broke down that picture of the guy running after somebody else, and then he figures out that he's on a different path than him. So that's where I really broke that down, and I talked about how your journey is your journey, right? It's nobody else's. So you got to own your journey because your journey is different than everybody else's. So it ties in with this video because comparison is the thief of joy, the thief of the race that God has you in, because it's a great race. Even though it may not be the race that you want, God has perfectly knitted and crafted you for this race. So you gotta run it to the best of your abilities, man. And then you're gonna make somebody else want to, attain blessings that you got. So you guys get what I'm saying. So if you like this as well, and you hate your birthdays and stuff like that, check out this.
You show this every time. I still laugh at that play, but I hate my birthdays, gosh. You look so happy with your 30-year-old balloons behind you. It's like, I hate my birthdays.
You know what? It would be clickbait if I was sad. Maybe I should try to do a thumbnail and change it.
Oh, no, I like that one. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, check out this playlist, guys. I hate my birthday, so listen to all the rest of the videos that I do on, all the revelations and stuff I received on my birthday. And hopefully, yeah, Justin can tag in and like he just did. But then also, here goes another playlist. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare. Never compare. Check out this playlist on my YouTube channel to listen to more stuff like that. So that'll eventually be sermons and Bible studies as well, and animations too. And then here goes Justin's YouTube channel, Chaplain's Log. So make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, turn on post notifications so you know when he uploads another video. Like all his videos, comment and share. And then here goes his Facebook page, Justin Lee Howell. So be friend him on there. If you got any questions, just DM us on our Facebook pages and let us know you got a question and you want us to do a video on your question. All right. So, and we got you. All right. So that's the video. I saw that Karen was tuning in. I pray that everything's going great with you, Karen. A long time no talk to. And then this is my boy Justin, Karen. So she's one of my friends on Twitter for a while. So
yeah. Oh, nice.
All right, guys. So you guys have a great rest of your night. We're going to bed now, and Justin's finishing his tea. Is it cold now?
Yeah, it's cold.
All right. I promise I saw smoke when you first, when our first video ended. It looked like it was hot.
It was heated at the beginning, but I'm slow. Yeah. I'm slow when I.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys later. You guys have a great rest of your night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Good night. Peace.
Peace.